Business in the City, the podcast of entrepreneurs without borders. So, I have the pleasure to welcome today Claudia Romo Edelman to this podcast. And I'm very glad to welcome you today, Claudia, because I know you've been doing a lot for a lot of communities. And you are the founder of We're All Humans, and you will talk about this later, I hope. Of course, that's the purpose of this podcast. You worked for international organizations where you could have had the best career in the sense that you could have stayed comfortably on a chair over there and keep working, be quite celebrated, you see, and be happy. You have a wonderful life, but you decided to go to the other side, which is the entrepreneurship, which is not always easy, to start something that you probably touched your heart more than anything else. So really interesting to hear your profile and what you have to say about that. So first of all, could you please explain who you are to the people who don't know you yet and why you decided to launch We Are All Humans?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Emily, and good luck in launching this platform. It is really important for us to have more spaces where we're sharing our stories, sharing best practices, learning from each other. We need playbooks and we need role models in all the ventures that we have. I have been an intrapreneur all my life. I never worked in settings that were not massive, either the Mexican government or the United Nations, the World Economic Forum, and so on. And I realized at some point when I moved to the States 10 years ago that I was Latina, and as such that this new community that I was going to belong to was very discriminated, and that had an incredible opportunity, but that I, like in a way, I saw the agenda that needed to be pushed. And I couldn't continue with the global agenda without focusing on the national agenda and my agenda. I wanted to move from being a co-pilot to being a pilot. And so taking that step from being an entrepreneur and working in a global setting to moving to being the pilot of my own agenda was very, very hard. I set up the World Human Foundation with shaking legs, not knowing how to do it, where to start, how to set up, like as an entrepreneur, as a social entrepreneur, as a fact. So I set up the World Human Foundation in order to remind people just of that we are all human, that we belong to the same human family. And I started focusing very much on the Latino community, on how could we move the agenda and the needle forward so that every Latino can be seen and heard and valued. So I think that for the last 6 years, I've been learning how to be an entrepreneur, a social entrepreneur, how to partner with how to identify a problem, how to find the solution and the partner so that you can move fast. So I'm taking advantage of being small and mighty in order to, in order to go faster.
It's nice to see that it's not only about the glamorous side, it's also quite hard at the beginning. And it's nice that you remind us that you cannot get there if you haven't started and did the small steps at the beginning. So it's really nice to hear. Could you please share with us what has been the most difficult part for you as an entrepreneur at the beginning and how you solved the problem?
Like I didn't know anything about setting my own organization. I never even thought about how to set it legally, the things that you need to know on access to capital, access to partnerships, access to understanding how to hire someone. I set up the foundation in the wrong format. I didn't know enough about the structure. I didn't know how to set up something from scratch and start hiring. And I made the mistakes of hiring too fast, like not growing with a pace. At some point, 6 months in on the foundation, I had to stop. And I said, look, I'm so sorry. Everybody has to go because I can't fundraise enough to keep this organization moving. And well, a couple of the people left. Many of the people, the majority of the people said, you know what, I'm going to stay. I believe in what you're doing. I believe that you can do it. So how long do you think it's going to take for you to be able to bring some money so that we can be paid? And I'm 3 months. And they're like, okay. So when so many people trust you and give you their trust like that, I literally got that energy and that enthusiasm to start slower this time, learn the lessons from the past, start hiring and growing with the pace that I had, start putting the pieces on the table, start talking to more entrepreneurs about like how to do it and how to not do it. Take failures as the best learning opportunities and start building on need. So for me, the need that I identified is that Latinos were incredible contributors to the country, but were fragmented. And so, how to bring the unification? I saw that that piece that was a problem, a big problem for many people, and I could bring a solution. I saw that Latinos were not aware of their own contributions to the country, so there was an opportunity for me to try to educate them. So I started looking at what are my superpowers, what are the assets that I have, and what are the problems that I can truly try to solve, because there are many, many problems, but what are the ones in which I can have a unique value proposition to try to solve them, and who is going to be benefiting from these from the community side and from the people that are going to be supporting it. And I think that those lessons have been very instrumental for me to learn that now I'm moving not only from being a social entrepreneur, but also I'm moving into being an entrepreneur and doing more for-profit instruments, more a company that I want to start doing, so that also I can have the revenue to support the foundation and to support the other efforts that I have. But it was a really incredible learning opportunity for me. Something that I learned a little bit in school. I was in a program for entrepreneurs for a couple of months that taught me a lot. But learning from your mistakes and from doing and from others is vital.
Of
I
course.
would suggest, if I would do it all over again, I would have started with the education and the information before jumping into it the way.
Yes, but at least you did it. You made it. It's been 6 years, if I understand well. Um, what has been the change in 6 years? Where are you now? What are the results of everything you did?
I have never seen results and progress made in my entire life, in my entire career. So while all the other organizations where I worked were incredible in their ambition, in their goals, and in their outreach, nothing has been as successful as the goals that we were able to progress and achieve and move forward like this. So we were set up as a foundation doing a social work in order to unify the Latino community and to provide pride to the Latino community, because we were afraid of being ourselves. So we were denying who we were. And that was a big problem for everybody. And the last piece that we wanted to do was to mobilize corporate America. So we had a very clear theory of change of the things we wanted to solve and how to do it. And we measured it. We did a study, the Hispanic Sentiment Study 2018, and then we measured it in 2023. And we were able to see that Latinos were 14% united. So most people said, I don't talk to each other, we don't support each other, and so on. And that number changed from 14% to 48% 5 years after. I've never seen change so fast.
Wow.
Like in my life, if you move 1% of the world that wants to vaccinate, it's already massive. This was incredible. I cried the day that I saw that the result. We were also able to see the doubling of the people that were educated about themselves. So Latinos didn't know about how powerful we were and therefore felt small. And because of the education campaign that we were part of, many people are doing that we were part of, now Latinos felt more aware of their own contributions to the country, therefore they could feel more proud. And I think that the last piece is that we have been working with more than 350 companies in the last 5 years, through which we were able to mobilize and equip them with the tools necessary for them to sign, even to make a commitment to be more inclusive for Latinos. So for me, this is like the change that I never thought I could see in my own life, where 10 years ago when I moved to America, no one, like I went to a restaurant, and if I talked to a waiter, Latino, obviously Latino, and I said like, hola, how are you? They would like try to pretend they were not Latinos. Today, I go to a restaurant and they see me Latino and they give me coffee for free. That's the
Claudia,
thing.
I want to understand why Latinos wouldn't get along well together. Coming from outside, outside from the community, we don't always understand why you would not get along well together.
The insight is the scarcity mentality. So if you look at post-war and many other circumstances historically, communities that are being deprived, that have not been able to have opportunities because there are many barriers, they are outsiders, and so on. They suffer from these scarcity mentalities where opportunities are seen as rare. And so for Latinos, because we're not in senior positions, we're not in politics, we're 19% of the population, but only 1% in politics or only 2% in senior positions. We don't have access to wealth. And so we had to do 2 to 3 jobs to make up to what normal person would do. So there was this thing of thinking that there was only one seat at the table. And I think that what has changed is that when you start looking at, wow, there is actually the scarcity mentality has to be changed to the abundance mentality, understanding that there's air for everybody, that there's no seat at the table because there's no table. There's only a country full of opportunities for every Latino, particularly if we support each other, if we help each other, and if we share the access code with each other. So I think that that's where the scarcity mentality came from, which is understandable, but absolutely not desirable. And that's where I think that I feel very proud to see the change happening the fastest.
That's great. Would you like to share some facts or numbers or something that you would like everyone to remember, maybe? I don't know, in relation with your work. And sometimes, we're not aware of everything. So if you want to share something with us, let us know because we're not aware of everything. So
the Latino community, and again, that's why I feel so inspired to make a change from social entrepreneur to entrepreneur now. Latinos are the driving force for America's prosperity. For the economic prosperity of America, the driving force is the Latino community. And so, what is good for Latinos, what is good for Hispanics, is good for America. So, I would like everybody to remember that Hispanic progress is American progress because we are the people, we are the youth, we're the economic power, we're the purchasing power, and the entrepreneurs. There's 5 million entrepreneurs, small businesses that are Latinos, Latinas, create small businesses faster than any other group in America, and we're the job creator number one in the country. I would like everybody to stop thinking of Latinos as takers and recognize that we are makers. When you recognize that this community is only providing good for the country, then you start integrating us better. Then we are ourselves are starting to, peel off our mask better. And I think that that's a great thing because again, what is good for Hispanics is good for America.
Definitely. Could you please share with us your new projects? You told us you're going to move to proper entrepreneurship. Do you want to say a little word about it or not?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The World Human Foundation, and I am a social entrepreneur by heart. And I will always have my mind set up on doing good, doing great while doing good. There's no way to do it otherwise. And I think that that's also very female. You see, the world is browner, more feminine, and with a bigger heart than ever before. And that's the way I see life. So for me, the foundation and all the charitable work that I do, philanthropic work that I do, will always be there. But I want to start commercializing the cactus-based spirit that my family has a production of in Mexico. So my family has been producing almost like a tequila. It's like if tequila and mezcal would have a baby, it would be sotol.
Nice.
And sotol is from the north of Mexico. It's a cactus-based spirit, delicious with 1/3 of the calories of tequila. My family has been producing for 40 years, and I will start commercializing it. I will start doing a product, building a brand, and using that to bring it to the world. While giving back, making sure that it's done in a sustainable way, allowing Latinas particularly to become investors and ambassadors of the product, and making sure that a percentage of the profits of my product are going to be given to the people that serve it, to the service industry in America that is very much Latino, the waiters, the bartenders, the mixologists of the world. So I'm very excited about it because I think that the world is moving to a healthier better for you
Wow.
category. And sotol has no sugar, it's organic, it's sustainable, and I think that the consumer is ready for the new next big thing.
Okay, so you'll share with us later the link and we will upload it to this website, to our YouTube channel. Any advice, any tips, any books you'd like to share? I know you are good at life KPIs and I so much believe in this. Just share with us anything you believe is interesting for all of us. I know it's a big question, but I don't know if there's a book, if there's an advice, if there's something.
I literally just launched my training programs, my online training programs, where I speak about everything that I have learned in the last 30 years
Oh,
about how
nice.
to become the better version of yourself, the best self version of yourself, how to, like dream it, plan it, and do it and achieve what you want. And because I truly believe that better is possible, that everything is possible as a fact. So there's an online training that a series of courses that are like leadership development and also development on how to get your health,
I will
wealth,
put
and
the link too.
energy going. So I'd love to share that with you and invite everybody to see it. I believe that there's a
Okay.
lot of knowledge out there that we should be sharing with each other, and I was very happy to see that put together in a training course.
Wonderful. The last word is yours. If not, we can wrap it up, or talk about something you wish to discuss. What's the next step for We're All Humans, maybe? Or
Yeah, no, I think that if I could wrap it up, it would be to really understand that while the world is going through crazy moments, and sometimes we feel that there's more shadow than light. I absolutely want to share with you that the data indicates the opposite. There's no better time for us to be alive, particularly for women. If you would be a baby girl flying in the sky, trying to see where to land, this would be the best time for women. Not the caves, not the Middle Age, not 10 years ago, not 5 years ago. There's no better time for us to be able to develop businesses, to have access to electricity, to education, to health, to voting, to electoral choices. So let's use them. Let's use them by supporting each other, believing that we can do it. That's why I put the training. Get the lessons from each other, share the access code with each other, because when passion meets purpose, we're unstoppable. And there's a very special place in heaven, my grandmother would say, there's a very special place in heaven for women that support each other. So I think that this is our time.
that's great. Let's support each other and let's make the best of this time. Thank you so much, Claudia, for being with us today. And we wish you all the best.
Thank you so very much, Amelia, and good luck to you.
Business in the City, the podcast of entrepreneurs without borders.